my channel. Now today I'm doing a video that I saw originally on a fellow booktuber or bookstagrammer, Fanatical Fantasy, or Ellie's booktube. She actually started off her booktube with this video and I thought it was such a cool idea, and I actually hadn't heard of any of the books that she mentioned. I'll link her video down below. So I thought today I would do an underrated books video. Now after watching her video, I kind of thought about some books that I love. Obviously these are all my own opinions, but I was thinking of books I love that I want more people to know about and I think are awesome, but yeah, I haven't really heard too much talk about them. So yeah, I have quite a small pile, larger than I originally thought it was going to be. So I'll try and move through as quickly as possible, and this might be part one of a few underrated books that I might mention, but for now we'll just keep it as underrated books. And let's get started. Now, I was originally going to do a whole video on this book series alone because it's one of my absolute favorites. If you can't tell, my favorite books pile or my favorite bookshelf up there is looking a bit empty because it's missing one of my favorite books trilogy series ever. It is the Mara Dye trilogy and or now The Becoming of Noah Shaw, so the Shaw Confessions. This book series of the Mara Dye trilogy is literally one of my favorites of all time. I literally just reread these last week and I already want to reread them again because I just love them that much. Basically, the initial premise of the first book is this girl wakes up, she's been told, Mara Dye has been told that she was in an accident and she's the only survivor and she doesn't know what happened, and things start to happen and she doesn't know what's real and what's not real. Yeah, basically, I love these books. They're one of my favorites. It's got a mystery, it's got some angst, it's got some romance, and yeah, it's amazing. My first book boyfriend ever is in these books, and yeah, I would recommend these to anyone. They're definitely not a light read, but they're so good. They just like trap you and they're just amazing. So yeah, it goes on from the Unbecoming of Mara Dye to the Evolution, the Retribution. So that's Mara's trilogy, and now we have The Becoming of Noah Shaw, which is the first of the Shaw Confessions, and I'm so excited that the story has these books coming into it now. So yeah, this is my main one. If you pick up any of the books from this video, please pick up Mara Dye. It is honestly has a very special place in my heart. The only series I've loved for as long as these is Harry, and you can tell how much I love Harry, but the only other series I've loved for as long as Harry is this. Like, yes, I loved Twilight when I was younger, but I don't anymore. I read this when I was probably 19, maybe even 18. I love it to this day now. Forever will be one of my favorites, and I probably will reread it like near my birthday in February, if not sooner, because I just love them so much. Love you! If you follow me on Bookstagram, I'm sorry, I've been going on about Mara Dye for like the last 2 weeks, slash really the last week, because I've powered through them all 1 week. I love them, love them, love them. The next books that I'm going to mention, I did mention in my reread video, which I'll link down below because I actually realized that there is one book in this pile that I do want to reread, which I'll mention later, but I'll link my reread video down below. I'm currently rereading the If I Say Duology. Now, as you can see, I've got my bookmark in there. I started this today. I think these are so underrated. I again read these in about 2014 for the first time. It's again not a light read, but it's so good. The basic story of these two books is this girl is in a car accident with her family. She decides whether she wants to stay in the world without her family or to go with them, essentially. So yeah, it's definitely like a mixture of happy and sad, and yeah, it just is a really, really good book. Really light. It's not even 300 pages. I think it's like 220. And then the second one in the series is Where She Went, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, again, would recommend these. I love them. I don't hear a lot of people talk about them. I love the movie, and I know it's been made into a movie, so it's not like there's a small book that no one knows about. But yeah, I just don't hear a lot of talk about them, and I think they're really good. And it's one of those books that just make you, you know, cherish what you have, and yeah, touch your soul a little bit. The next book I will mention, or book trilogy I'll mention, I only have the first one, is one I'm going to add to my reread pile. I think I will only reread this one, which is the first one in the series, because I love it the most out of all of them. Admittedly, I haven't read the third. It is Until Friday Night by Abby Glines. Now this is the, I think it's the, what is it called? Something Party, I can't remember what the series is called. This is a trilogy, but I absolutely love this book. Literally, this is something I just stumbled across in Kmart. Anyone from Australia will know what that is. I'm sure you have it in the US, but here it's just like a department store that's like pretty cheap. This was $9 and I thought, oh yeah, this looks alright. You know, I love my high school books. Got a couple on the front. I read the back and I was like, oh, okay. And I read it in a night. It's only 325 pages. And yeah, I really liked it. I was like, damn, thanks Kmart for finding me a $9 book that was so good. I read the second one, didn't love as much as this one. This one just had me hooked. And there is a third one that's out now that I do want to read, but I definitely want to add this to the reread. And hey, maybe I'll try and read the second one again and I'll like it more, but right now, I definitely love this one. Found it, it's called the Field Party series. This is the first one. Basically, it is a high school book. It's about this guy, he's kind of popular and everyone thinks he's got it all going on, but actually he's got a lot of shit happening at home. And there's this girl who moves into town with her cousin because she's got other family shit happening, and she actually is mute, I think. She just doesn't talk to anyone. I don't know if she's specifically mute, but she doesn't talk to anyone. And then they meet and it's all about their romance and it's great. It's about her family as well, and it's just fucking good. It's really good. I can't describe books as well as they are. I can never give a book a good enough description that describes how good they are. This next book is another one that I stumbled across in Kmart. Thank you, Kmart. It is called Falling Into Place. Just stumbled across it. I always go to the Kmart book section to see if they've got anything different and interesting, and I saw this. The title immediately struck me. Basically, again, this is a few of these I don't think any of the ones I've mentioned are actually light reads in this video, but they're all really good. This one is about a girl in high school. She's the popular girl, and again, everyone kind of thinks she has it going on, but deep down she's really sad and wants to commit suicide. And it's kind of about how she plans to do it, and you know, the steps that she takes, and then it's whether she survives or not. And yeah, not a light read, but really good. And just because they're not light doesn't mean they're not good. And yeah, just one I stumbled across, have not heard anyone talk about this one. Yeah, it's really good. The next two I mentioned, I'm actually surprised. You're probably surprised that I am picking these ones up or have read these. Mainly I read a lot of YA, but when I was in high school, I actually read a few books by Jodi Picoult. Now, of course, I started with My Sister's Keeper at the time, and read that, loved it, and then I started to read The Pact and 19 Minutes. Now, again, these are very heavy books. This one's about a double suicide and this one's about a school shooting. They're not ones, if you want to have a happy light read, these aren't the books for you. But they're basically, Jodi Picoult's books have a similar theme. They all do very controversial topics, and they all deal around a lawsuit or like a court case. Only bad thing I will say about Jodi is she has that kind of theme to her books, where I read like this one and My Sister's Keeper, and then I read a fourth one which I did like, but I was kind of a bit over the recurring pattern in the books. So I would recommend to read her books, but maybe not all in one hit, because you will find that there is a recurring theme. I think I've read 19 Minutes first, which is about a school shooting, and it kind of goes through, you know, these two friends. They were friends growing up, and they go to high school and things change, and there's a school shooting, and it's about what happened that day and all that. This one, The Pact, is about a double suicide that kind of goes wrong. One of the people who decided to do the double suicide does die, and it's about kind of what happened and rah. Because essentially, yeah, I won't say much more, but yeah. For adult fiction, I think it's technically adult fiction. Again, these two stories are based in high school, so maybe it's not as much of adult fiction as I think. Another book that I don't know if it's just an older book that people are not talking about it as much, but this is one of my favorite books. I read this in high school again. I read some pretty heavy books in high school. It is The Lovely Bones by Alice Bold. This is the movie cover. Basically, this is about a girl. This is about a girl named Susie, and she kind of goes missing to her family, and no one really knows what happens to her, and it's about her story. And yeah, it's just really, it is a very confronting book. Again, not a light read. But yeah, I really love this book. I can't really say much more about these books that I love them, and I think people should read them. As I say when I'm doing a to-be read, I'm really excited to read it, and as I say about books that I think are underrated, I love them all, so I don't really know what else to say. But yeah, this book is one of my all-time faves. Don't really know what else to say, to be honest. Read it. This one I read again. These two books, actually took away with me when I went overseas, which is interesting because they're actually pretty heavy books. But I read If I Stay on My Kentucky Tour when I was overseas, and I also read Side Effects May Vary by Julie Murphy. This is about a girl who has been diagnosed with leukemia and she thinks she's going to die because she kind of doesn't give a care to the world and she just whatever. And then she actually goes into remission and realizes she's not going to die and has to live with everything that she's done. And it's kind of about, you know, how she comes back from that and can she recover some of the relationships and some of the things she's done. It's quite while it's obviously kind of got a heavy subject base or a subject matter, it is quite a light book, and it is you know, got a little bit of romance in it. So yeah, this was quite good. And again, a surprise, 3 of these books I kind of just stumbled across and I was like, oh, maybe this sounds all right, and then I really ended up liking them. So if this is what this video is for you and you pick them up and you're like, hey, this is pretty good, especially Mara Dye people. Mara Dye is the one to remember. Mara Dye, Mara Dye, Mara Dye. Yeah, I liked it. The last ones I'll mention are actually technically adult fiction as well, but yeah, surprisingly I haven't read a lot of this author. I've read these 2. I think I've only read these 2, and I have a few others that I want to read. I have seen a few movies that are based on books by this author, but I haven't read them all. It is 2 books by Nicholas Sparks of all people. It is The Last Song and Dear John. Now, The Last Song, while I read Harry and I did get emotional in Harry, this was the first book that actually made me cry. Yeah, this was the first book that made me full on break down. The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. I'm sure you've seen the movie with Miley Cyrus. Yeah, it's basically kind of like about a girl and her family's estranged and she doesn't really talk to her dad and she has to go live with him. I'm not actually sure why she has to go live with him. I think she's in trouble at school. She's kind of rebelling against her family, and it's about how she moves to this new town, she meets some new people and tries to reconnect with her dad, and yeah, it's a really good story. You know, some of the Nicholas Sparks, again, kind of like Jodie, have similar themes to them, but they're all, you know, these 2 in particular I really liked. Dear John is another one I liked. I read the book, I think, before I saw the movie, and yeah, these 2 just really struck home. Like, I've tried to read The Notebook and I tried to read The Best of Me, and they didn't really stick straight away. Admittedly, it was a while ago. They didn't really stick, whereas these 2 by him really did. I do want to read The Notebook again now that I'm older, and The Best of Me now that I'm older. People kind of think Nicholas Sparks and they think, oh god, like lovey-dovey, oh god, not like The Notebook, you know, rah rah. But I feel like a bit sad for Nicholas because he does write really good stories, and these 2 really struck home with me. Basically, yeah, I feel like my video was just me like, I love these books, you should read them, but I don't really know what else to say about them. These are some books that I think just don't get talked about enough, that not enough people know about. And yeah, as I said, if this is a video that makes you pick up these books and you like them after that, then great. After seeing my videos on my channel, let me know if you think I'm missing out on some underrated books that you love. I'm thinking of doing a part 2 to this video, so let me know if any I should add. Yeah, let me know what you think, what books you love that you think are underrated. And yeah, like down below if you like this, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next week or on Friday. Bye!